Sometimes silence hurts more than words. Sometimes being ignored feels heavier than being rejected. We start to wonder, was I not enough? But let me tell you something, my friends. When people ignore you, it's not a reflection of your worth, it's a reflection of their vision. Because one day, the same people who overlooked you will look back and say, I wish I hadn't. My dear friends, in this world of constant noise, where everyone is shouting to be seen, where everyone is racing to be liked, followed and noticed, we've forgotten something very simple. Attention fades. Respect lasts. When you chase attention, you make other people the judges of your worth. And that is a dangerous place to live in. Because the moment they stop clapping, you start doubting yourself. Have you noticed? The ones who seek attention the most are the ones who feel the most invisible inside. They'll post, they'll perform, they'll please, but deep down, they are begging for validation, trying to fill an emptiness that only self-respect can heal. You don't need to shout to be seen. You don't need to prove yourself to people who have already decided not to see your value. When you chase their attention, you give them the power to control your peace. But when you focus on your character, your discipline, your values, you begin to attract something much greater: respect. Respect is quiet. It doesn't come from noise. It comes from consistency. When you do what's right, even when nobody's watching, the world may ignore you for a while, but life is keeping score. Remember this: those who ignore you today might admire you tomorrow, not because you screamed louder, but because you stood taller. People will always notice the light that shines steadily, not the one that flashes for a moment. So stop chasing attention. It's a mirage. Start earning respect. It's a legacy. The moment you stop trying to be seen, you start becoming remembered. Silence, such a simple word, yet such a powerful force. Most people misunderstand it. They think silence means weakness, surrender, or defeat. But those who have truly lived, truly observed life, know that silence is not emptiness. It's energy, focused and controlled. When someone ignores you, the natural urge is to react, to explain, to defend, to prove. You want to scream, I'm still here, I matter. But that's where most people lose their peace, in the reaction. Because the moment you react, you give away your power. The moment you try to prove your worth, you let them decide its value. Silence, on the other hand, speaks in a language louder than words. It tells the world, I don't need your attention to validate my existence. It tells them, I choose peace over drama. You see, silence isn't about avoiding confrontation. It's about mastering self-control. It's about knowing that you don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. When someone disrespects you, when someone chooses to ignore you, silence becomes your armor. Not because you are scared to respond, but because you've evolved beyond the need to. The loudest roar often comes from the one who doesn't need to speak. The one who knows that time will reveal what words cannot. And something magical happens when you choose silence over reaction. You start to hear yourself again. You begin to understand your thoughts, your emotions, your boundaries. The noise of others begins to fade, and your inner voice becomes clearer. You start to realize that your energy is precious, and not everyone deserves access to it. Sometimes silence is not about them at all. It's about you. It's about healing, rebuilding, and growing without interruption. It's about choosing to rise above rather than sink below. When you stay silent, the world wonders what's happening inside you. And that mystery, that calm confidence, creates respect. Think of the calm sea. It looks still, but beneath it, immense strength is moving. Your silence is the same. On the surface, you may seem still, but deep within, you are preparing, becoming wiser, stronger, and more centered. And when the right moment comes, when life presents the right opportunity, you won't need to announce your worth. Your actions will speak for you. Your presence will do the talking. So never underestimate the power of your silence. Let others talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them ignore. You just keep growing quietly. Because one day, when your results speak, the same people who ignored, you will have no choice but to listen. Rejection, it's one of the most painful experiences a human can feel. It pierces deeper than words because it touches something inside our identity, our need to belong, to be valued, to be seen. When someone rejects or ignores you, it feels like they're saying, "You don't matter." But what if I told you that rejection isn't the end of your story? It's the redirection toward your real path. Every time life closes a door, it's not punishment, it's protection. You were not meant to enter every room, not meant to be accepted by every person, not meant to be loved by everyone you meet. Sometimes the rejection you're crying about is the very reason you'll thank life later. Because what you thought was a dead end was actually divine redirection. Think about this. How many times have you looked back at something you wanted desperately? A person, a job, an opportunity, and said, "F, thank God that didn't work out, Toss." At the time you couldn't see it. All you could feel was pain. But life was silently moving you towards something better, something more aligned with who you are becoming. Rejection hurts because it touches our ego. The ego screams, "Why me?" But your soul whispers, "Wait and see." The ego wants immediate acceptance. But your soul is patient. It understands that rejection is just a redirection toward purpose. When someone ignores you, maybe it's because they are not capable of appreciating your energy. When a door closes, maybe it's because that place can't hold the greatness you are meant to grow into. The universe doesn't take things away to hurt you. It removes them to make space for what's truly yours. But here's the truth. You must be strong enough to stay still in the waiting. Because redirection doesn't always come with a sign. Sometimes you'll walk through confusion, silence, and loneliness before you understand why something didn't work out. That silence is not empty. It's preparation. Rejection teaches you to depend less on approval and more on purpose. It builds resilience, it builds humility, and most importantly, it builds direction. It reminds you that your value is not negotiable, not based on someone's recognition. You don't need to be accepted everywhere. You just need to find where you truly belong. And when that happens, when you reach the right place, meet the right people, find the right opportunity, you'll realize that every no was guiding you there. Every door that closed was saving you from smaller versions of yourself. Every time you were ignored, you were being redirected to the place where your presence would be seen, respected, and valued. So, my friends, don't fear rejection. Don't cry over who walked away. Don't curse the ones who didn't choose you. Instead, thank them silently, because by stepping away, they made space for your evolution. Life is not taking from you, it's pointing you toward where you truly belong. One day you'll look back and smile. You'll say, "Now I understand. That rejection wasn't the end. It was the beginning of everything, right?" When people turn away from you, when they stop replying, stop showing up, stop noticing your efforts, it hurts. It feels like all the love, time, and kindness you gave have disappeared into silence. But here's the truth most people never realize. While they look away, you have the perfect opportunity to look within. When they ignore you, don't waste that time wondering why. Use it to build yourself so powerfully that one day, even if they look back, they won't recognize the person you've become. You see, growth doesn't happen in applause. It happens in absence. The moment people stop watching you is the moment you start truly working on yourself. When there's no validation, no encouragement, no one checking on you, that's where your real strength is born. Because growth requires privacy. Flowers don't bloom while staring at the sun. They bloom quietly under the soil first. That's where you are, in the unseen stage, in the soil of silence, preparing to rise. When they look away, build your skills. Learn, improve, evolve. The time you could spend replaying their silence, use it to create something so beautiful that silence becomes your background music. Turn your pain into progress. Instead of waiting for them to notice you, become someone who no longer needs to be noticed. Think about how many people waste months, even years, waiting for someone to return, waiting for closure, waiting for acknowledgement. But life doesn't move forward by waiting, it moves forward by working. The best closure you can ever give yourself is your own growth. When they don't see your worth, that's your signal to increase it. Every moment they're ignoring you is a blessing disguised as pain, because their absence is freeing up space for your transformation. They gave you silence, you give yourself structure. They gave you distance, you give yourself direction. They stopped showing up, now you start showing up for yourself. Sometimes, life isolates you to elevate you. It removes you from certain people, not because you are unworthy, but because your environment is too small for the magnitude of your potential, and you cannot rise while still trying to convince others to see your light. Build in private. Grow in secret. Let your success speak for you when the time is right. There's a deep kind of peace that comes when you finally stop needing to be seen by the wrong eyes. When you stop performing for people who were never meant to appreciate you. That peace turns into power, and from that power comes transformation, the kind that doesn't need to shout. So, while they ignore you, work quietly. Strengthen your mind, your habits, your dreams. Read that book. Start that project. Heal that wound. Learn that skill. Every step you take in silence becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. And one day, when your results start speaking, when your growth becomes visible, those same people who looked away will suddenly want to look again. And when they do, you won't feel anger, you won't even feel pride, you'll just smile, because you realize that their silence was never meant to break you. It was meant to build you. Their absence was your training ground. Their ignorance was your motivation. Their rejection was your awakening. So don't waste your energy chasing their attention. Build yourself until your existence commands it naturally. Let your growth make the noise your words never could. Because when they look away and you rise quietly, that's not revenge. That's evolution. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone deserves to know your heart, your dreams, your plans, or your peace. The problem is, most of us give pieces of ourselves to people who were never meant to hold them. We open our hearts to those who only came to visit, not to stay. We pour our energy into people who only came to take, not to build. And then, when they leave or ignore us, we wonder why we feel so empty. The truth is, access is sacred. Your time, your energy, your attention, These are the most valuable currencies you own. But when you give them freely to everyone, especially to those who don't appreciate them, you end up bankrupt in spirit. The world will always take as much as you offer, so it's your responsibility to decide where your boundaries begin and where they end. You cannot keep watering dead plants and expect a garden to bloom. You cannot keep showing up for people who never show up for you. You cannot keep explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. At some point, you must protect your peace the way you protect your most prized possession. Because it is. You see, when people ignore you, it's not always rejection. Sometimes it's revelation. It's life revealing who's truly aligned with your growth and who's not. Ignorance from others is often protection from God, from the universe, from destiny. It's a sign telling you not here, not with them. But instead of fighting for attention, learn to appreciate the silence that removes you from what was never meant for you. When you stop granting everyone access, something magical happens. Your energy becomes rarer, more powerful, more respected. People start to notice your absence. They start to realize that your presence was not just noise, it was nourishment. But by then, you'll be too evolved to need their recognition. Because the more you protect your energy, the more peace you gain. And the more peace you gain, the less you crave validation. Boundaries are not walls, they're filters. They don't keep people out, they keep your peace in. Protecting your energy doesn't make you rude or cold, it makes you wise. Because wisdom is knowing who deserves a seat at your table and who is better left standing outside the door. Imagine your life as a beautiful garden. Every person you allow in carries either seeds or weeds. Some come to plant growth, love, encouragement. Others come to take, to drain, to destroy. If you're not careful, you'll end up spending your days cleaning up the mess of those who never came to stay. Protect your garden. Let your silence, your standards, and your self-respect be the fence that keeps the weeds out. When you start choosing peace over people, your life transforms. You stop over-explaining, you stop chasing, you stop forcing conversations that drain you. You begin to understand that your energy is a privilege, not a right. Only those who reciprocate your effort, your honesty, and your care should have access to it. Everyone else, let them learn the value of losing you. And here's the beautiful part. Once you begin protecting your energy, you stop resenting others for wasting it. Because you'll no longer give them that chance. You'll stop expecting from those who've already shown you their limits. You'll stop begging for closure from people who were never open to begin with. Instead, you'll learn to love from a distance, to forgive without re-entry, and to wish well without returning. One day, those who ignored your presence will feel the heaviness of your absence. They'll realize that your consistency, your care, your calmness, those were not ordinary. They'll wish they had appreciated you while they still had access. But by then, you'll have moved forward, not in anger, but in peace. Because protecting your energy isn't about revenge, it's about respect. So stop handing out free access passes to your life. Let people earn the right to your time. Let your silence test their intentions. And let your growth remind them that not everyone who leaves deserves to come back. Because not everyone deserves access, especially those who never valued it when they had it. Growth is not always visible. It doesn't always come with applause, recognition, or reward. Most of the time, it happens quietly, in your thoughts, in your habits, in your decisions when no one is watching. Focusing on your inner growth means turning your attention away from the noise of others and toward the whispers of your own soul. It means understanding that the true transformation of your life doesn't begin in your circumstances. It begins in your mind. When people ignore you, when life feels stagnant, when progress seems invisible, that's not the time to lose hope. That's the time to go inward. The external world may not notice your journey yet, but your inner world is where your strength is being built. Just like a seed grows under the soil unseen, your transformation is happening beneath the surface of silence. Don't live your life trying to prove people wrong. That's still giving them power. That's still letting them control the direction of your growth. If you live for revenge or validation, you remain a prisoner of their opinion. But when you decide to prove yourself right, to honor your own potential, to believe in your own vision, you become unstoppable. Because now, your growth is not a reaction, it's a creation. Focusing on inner growth means learning to sit with your pain and ask it what it's teaching you. It means looking at your insecurities not with judgment, but with curiosity. It's asking yourself, why does this hurt me so much? What wound is it touching? What strength is it trying to awaken? Because behind every emotional pain, there's a lesson waiting to mature you. And the beautiful thing about inner growth is, it changes everything, even the outer world. When your thoughts evolve, your energy changes. When your energy changes, your choices change. And when your choices change, your life changes. It all begins within. That's why the greatest project you will ever work on is yourself. Spend time developing your mind. Read, learn, reflect. Develop habits that build you rather than break you. Wake up early even if no one notices. Practice gratitude even when life feels unfair. Speak kindly even when others don't. Not because anyone's watching, but because you are. Your character is who you are when no one is clapping. Growth doesn't always feel good. It's uncomfortable. It's lonely. It challenges the way you think, the people you surround yourself with, and even your old identity. You'll outgrow habits that once felt comforting. You'll distance yourself from people who no longer align with your peace. That's the cost of evolution, and it's worth every tear. You don't heal by pretending you're fine. You heal by being honest with yourself, by accepting what hurt you and deciding that it won't define you. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every moment of being ignored, it's all fertilizer for your inner strength. Don't resist it. Use it. Focusing on inner growth means shifting your attention from what's happening to me to what's happening for me. Because everything life throws at you is either a test or a teacher. The pain that made you cry is also the same pain that will teach you compassion. The people who ignored you are the same ones who pushed you toward independence. So, while others chase status, chase likes, chase validation, chase your own evolution. Be obsessed with becoming more self-aware, more grounded, more peaceful. The kind of person who walks into a room and radiates calm, not because everything is perfect, but because you've learned to remain centered no matter what happens around you. And the most beautiful part, when you truly grow inside, the need to prove yourself disappears. You stop begging people to see your worth. You stop fighting for spaces that no longer fit your spirit. You stop needing recognition because you've already recognized yourself. People might still ignore you, misunderstand you, even doubt you, but you'll smile, not out of pride, but out of peace, because you'll know that their opinion no longer defines you. You've built a foundation within that no storm can shake. That's the power of inner growth. It's invisible at first, but undeniable in the end. One day, the same people who didn't notice your struggle will notice your strength. They'll wonder how you managed to become so calm, so confident, so centered, and you'll simply smile and say, I stopped trying to change them and started changing myself. As time, the most silent yet the most honest teacher in this universe. It doesn't need to speak. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to prove. It simply reveals. When someone ignores you, when people misunderstand you, when life feels unfair, you don't have to defend yourself or force anyone to see your truth. Just let time do its work. Because time, my friends, always reveals what words cannot. At first, it hurts. You want to explain yourself? To make them understand your intentions. You want to tell them how